the highest growth time for the market. And as a result, for AMD, our strategy is to lead in high performance and AI computing. And to do that, we must have a very strong supply chain, and we must have very strong partners. So we've been working very closely with all of our partners here in Taiwan. Yesterday, we hosted a customer symposium with over 150 of our partners, and many are in the room today. And our announcements this week are two. The first announcement is around the progress that we've made with TSMC. So TSMC has been a tremendous partner for AMD, and I would say is a key reason that we have been so successful. And what we wanted to be was the first to really ramp 2-nanometer HPC technology. So we're happy to announce that our newest CPU chip, Venice, has started its production ramp here in 2-nanometer. So it was very exciting for that. And then the second piece is around the supply chain. So I think all of us in the industry recognize that this is the time we have to invest because we need to have enough capacity for the next 1, 2, 3 years. But it's a lot of investment that's required. So AMD is partnering with a number of companies here in the Taiwan ecosystem because we're leading in advanced packaging and we're leading in high-performance computing. We are co-investing to build both the technology and the capacity about over $10 billion for, if you think about all of the advanced packaging, substrates, test capacity, rack scale integration. And first of all, it's a big vote of confidence for this is the place where the technology is the best. And it's also very, very important for AMD's long-term growth. So back-end technology to the systems, our OEM and our ODM partners, and now building to rack scale manufacturing. All of those pieces need to work very, very closely together. And the only place in the world that has all of it together is right here in Taiwan. So we all view that this is really the center of the advanced technology that we're bringing out. I think what's different today, I would say, is in addition to needing the overall, let's call it end-to-end, we're also finding the need to have manufacturing capabilities around the world. And so many of the partners in the Taiwan ecosystem are now also expanding outside of Taiwan. And I think that's a really good thing because semiconductors are so important to the world. Having the geographic capability is very important. Every year, I actually bring my leadership team here together to meet with our most important customers and partners. And it's an opportunity for us to talk about our latest priorities and our technologies, but its biggest reason is to appreciate and say thank you. So we had a very nice banquet last night, and everybody is so friendly. Everyone loves each other. Even if they're competitors, it doesn't matter. So cool. What I'm really happy to see is all of our friends and colleagues are so successful because the time is right. The time right now with the technology, the capability, and then I think the spirit of the entire Taiwan ecosystem is such that there's so much success, and I think that's a really good thing. Pretty soon. I think the key thing, if you think about GPUs or CPUs, the details are not that important, but the higher level point is everyone gets so excited about GPUs. The last few years, GPUs have grown so much. And my fundamental principle is when you're trying to enable AI everywhere, you need every kind of computing. And now you're starting to see that. So you're starting to see CPUs grow. You're starting to see also some ASICs grow. And as I said, the timing is actually pretty fast. Right now, I would say that we're seeing more and more agentic AI. The way to think about agentic AI, if I can give you a picture in your mind, Ishan, is you have, today, you're a wonderful, very capable journalist, but you have to do your own research. And maybe your ChatGPT or your AI can help you research Lisa Su. Actually, she did very good research. I think she knew everything I ever said, ever. And we're all so excited. We want to catch up to that demand. And so we're working very hard to solve those bottlenecks. And I think we're making great progress. So from our standpoint, I think the entire ecosystem, I have to say, a big thank you, because everybody is making great progress to bring on more capacity. And the foundation is very positive, which is the world needs more AI computing. And we're able to deliver that with the entire ecosystem together. Educating every single person about how to use the AI tools and how to change the way we internally build our products or do our sales, do our marketing. I think every company has to think about how do you educate your employees? How do you ensure that you put the right tools in place? Of course, AI is not always right. Actually, many times it's not right. So you still have to have the right checks in place, because at the end of the day, the company is responsible for what type of information they put out. And so there's a lot of things that one has to think about. But actually, to have a real training program, an education program.
So could you give examples of what kind of education program you provide in AMD inside?
We have, basically you would take a class, it might be an online class, and there were very different levels of the class. So there's basic level, then there is, if you're a specific type of engineer, you would take this type of class, and if you're more sales and marketing, you have a different type of tools. But it's different by tools, because this is, actually, we're all learning together. I don't think any of the framework is finished yet. We're all learning together how to be more productive with the use of AI. Our philosophy is that there's no one company that has all of the best ideas. In fact, there's no one product that's the best product, and the best way for us to provide all of the technology that's required in the world is for us to have an open ecosystem, which means hardware is open, you can use different types of hardware for each application, and with that you need the right software capability as the right standards. I do think that you will have some open ecosystem, and then you will also have some closed ecosystem, but in the end, the open ecosystem is very, very powerful. And we want that individual companies can differentiate and have their special sauce, but we all still are able to work together. Anyone who has heard of Moore's Law, right, everyone says Moore's Law is slowing down. When you try to keep making things smaller, you actually can't. You can't yield it, it's too expensive, and all of those things are true. So the idea of chiplets is, instead of building one big chip, you cut up your chip into small chiplets, and you put them back together with advanced packaging. And today, our most advanced chip we call MI450. It's our newest chip. It's just starting to go into production in the second half of this year. It's over 300 billion transistors, and it has maybe over 20 chiplets that we put together. And when I went to school, when I was getting my PhD, I thought this kind of technology could never work. Actually, I thought it was so hard to do this, but it's amazing when you really see the engineering capability that we have been able to build, that the industry ecosystem, this is not AMD, it's the industry ecosystem has found a way to make these successful. Significantly more supply planned for 2027 and beyond, because this trend is not is really just starting. We're going to continue to see the demand for CPUs go up over the next few years.
Wonderful. How about Ray?
Dr. Su, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lily with Taiwan Plus, and my question is, how can AMD specifically challenge NVIDIA, which currently dominates in AI infrastructure? Thank you.
Well, I think one of the things that's most important for us to think about is the AI infrastructure market is growing so quickly. We're projecting that just the data center part of the AI infrastructure market will be over $1 trillion over the next 3 or 4 years, which is tremendous, tremendous growth. in that type of market, you actually need all different types of solutions. So you need CPUs, GPUs, as well as ASICs and other technologies. I think that is the advantage that we have as AMD, is that we have all of these components. So if you think about 6 months ago or 12 months ago, nobody was talking about CPU shortages or CPUs being tight. But with inferencing demand increasing, now CPUs are very much in the center of what's important. And this is where AMD is very, very strong. So if you think about just the way the AI infrastructure market evolves, you're going to see all different kinds of compute. And we believe that our technology is going to do very well in the overall infrastructure market.
Wonderful.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Katie from Economic Daily News. You mentioned earlier the next big wave is physical AI. And could you please share AMD's plan, roadmap, or vision regarding physical AI? Thank you.
Yeah, physical AI is a very interesting area because when you think about robotics or any type of these edge infrastructure capability, you need a few different things. You need compute capability, processing capability, which we have, but you also need a real-time capability, and it's also very latency sensitive. So when we acquired Xilinx, we acquired a very capable adaptive computing capability with FPGAs and other things. And so our embedded systems are actually already in many different physical AI applications. We're in medical applications, automotive applications, aerospace and defense, and we're now combining our CPU and our AI engine capability into that real-time capability so that you have the ability to satisfy these physical AI applications.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Pearl from Wales Group, Wales Magazine in Taiwan. My question is, you mentioned the inference is the key to drive the AI to widespread adoption. Mm-hmm. And also that ASIC chips is growing, right? Mm-hmm. But for AMD, do you think ASIC chips are both a competitor and also a boost for AMD? What's your view?
Yeah, I actually think, again, this is a pretty interesting time. So inference is growing very fast. And when you think about inferencing growing very fast, the most important thing we talk about is tokens per dollar. And how can you get more tokens because you're using a lot of AI capacity. AMD's roadmap is actually optimized for inference. So if you look at our GPU roadmap, we focused on some of the most important areas of inferencing around memory and memory bandwidth. And that, I think, is playing very well to some of the large customers like OpenAI and Meta and others who have adopted AMD's technology. To your question about ASICs, I think ASICs are very good. And in some sense, you're always going to have the ability when you're trying to do something cheaper to use ASICs. From AMD's standpoint, our philosophy is you should use the right chip for the right application. So sometimes you need GPUs, sometimes you need CPUs, sometimes you need ASICs, and our technology is able to do all of those things. So I would say overall, it's a net positive. And the reason it's a net positive is the demand is so high, there's so much opportunity for all of us to be very successful.
A Q&A. We have microphones to pass around for you to ask your questions. When you do ask a question, please state your name and the media outlet that you're from. And so we can get to as many questions as possible, please limit yourself to one question. So with that, I will turn the floor over to Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you always for the warm welcome when I come to Taiwan. So it's a little bit short trip this time, but always very productive to be here with our ecosystem partners and to really plan our overall strategy for the next few years. So I'm happy to take any questions that you would like to ask.
Wonderful. How about right here in the front?
Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you again. This is Honda Lin from Commonwealth Magazine. So yesterday, you just announced the 100 billion investment in Taiwan. So I just want to ask, could you give us some more colors about this investment? Because how much capacity you need and which part of the capacity you need most support from Taiwan semiconductor supply chain? Thank you.
Absolutely. So we announced over $10 billion in investment in the Taiwan ecosystem. And what we're really trying to do is, AMD is at the really leading edge, one of the first users of some of the advanced packaging technologies, some very complex substrates, and also some of the rack scale design. And so what we are doing with a number of our partners is to really co-invest such that the capacity is available for ramp later in 2026, but also into 27, 28, and 29. Because the lead time on some of these investments is quite long. They have to secure land and buildings and manufacturing capacity to do that. It's advanced packaging as well as substrates, as well as some of the manufacturing for rack scale systems.
Wonderful. Next question.
So following up on your China chip, you just came back from China, and we knew that there were some CPU shortages right now. And was wondering how you see the lead time for your Chinese customers, and with the AI inference CPU demand going really, really high, and the CPU going into 2 nanometers, how do you see the Chinese market, like Chinese AI inference CPU market, to grow?
So what I would say is today, the overall CPU market has had significantly higher demand than any of us predicted a year ago. So I would say the CPU market is tight. I did just go to China before I came to Taiwan. I had the opportunity to talk to all of our largest customers in China as well as around the world. And we are ramping up capacity very quickly. So one of the reasons I came here to Taiwan is to make sure that we prepare ourselves for the significant ramp in CPUs. And we're getting excellent support from all of our supply chain partners to do that. So my view is that we will continue to ramp up supply every quarter this year. And we have significantly more supply planned for 2027 and beyond. Because this trend is really just starting. We're going to continue to see the demand for CPUs, go up over the next few years.
Wonderful. How about Ray?
Dr. Su, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lily with Taiwan Plus, and my question is, how can AMD specifically challenge NVIDIA, which currently dominates in AI infrastructure? Thank you.
Well, I think one of the things that's most important for us to think about is the AI infrastructure market is growing so quickly. We're projecting that just the data center part of the AI infrastructure market will be over $1 trillion over the next 3 or 4 years, which is tremendous, tremendous growth. In that type of market, you actually need all different types of solutions. So you need CPUs, GPUs, as well as ASICs and other technologies. I think that is the advantage that we have as AMD, is that we have all of these components. So if you think about 6 months ago or 12 months ago, nobody was talking about CPU shortages or CPUs being tight. But with inferencing demand increasing, now CPUs are very much in the center of what's important. And this is where AMD is very, very strong. So if you think about just the way the AI infrastructure market evolves, you're going to see all different kinds of compute, and we believe that our technology is going to do very well in the overall infrastructure market.
Wonderful.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Katie from Economic Daily News. You mentioned earlier the next big wave is physical AI. And could you please share AMD's plan, roadmap, or vision regarding physical AI? Thank you.
Yeah, physical AI is a very interesting area because when you think about robotics or any type of these edge infrastructure capability, you need a few different things. You need compute capability, processing capability, which we have, but you also need a real-time capability, and it's also very latency sensitive. So when we acquired Xilinx, we acquired a very capable adaptive computing capability with FPGAs and other things. And so our embedded systems are actually already in many different physical AI applications. We're in medical applications, automotive applications, aerospace and defense, and we're now combining our CPU and our AI engine capability into that real-time capability so that you have the ability to satisfy these physical AI applications.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Pearl from Wales Group, Wales Magazine in Taiwan. My question is, you mentioned the inference is the key to drive the AI to widespread adoption. Mm-hmm. And also that ASIC chips is growing, right? Mm-hmm. But for AMD, do you think ASIC chips are both a competitor and also a boost for AMD? What's your view?
Yeah, I actually think, again, this is a pretty interesting time. So inference is growing very fast. And when you think about inferencing growing very fast, the most important thing we talk about is tokens per dollar. And how can you get more tokens because you're using a lot of AI capacity. AMD's roadmap is actually optimized for inference. So if you look at our GPU roadmap, we focused on some of the most important areas of inferencing around memory and memory bandwidth. And that, I think, is playing very well to some of the large customers like OpenAI and Meta and others who have adopted AMD's technology. To your question about ASICs, I think ASICs are very good. And in some sense, you're always going to have the ability when you're trying to do something cheaper to use ASICs. From AMD's standpoint, our philosophy is you should use the right chip for the right application. So sometimes you need GPUs, sometimes you need CPUs, sometimes you need ASICs, and our technology is able to do all of those things. So I would say overall, it's a net positive. And the reason it's a net positive is the demand is so high, there's so much opportunity for all of us to be very successful. So
Wonderful.
The supply chain is tight. I will say that. That being the case, I would say that as a set of partners, we're very, very happy with our supply chain partners. We are continuing to ramp up capacity. As I said, TSMC is a fantastic partner and continues to ramp capacity and be very, very helpful as we see the overall demand go up. We're always considering what are the best options in the supply chain. So I would say, we'll always consider. But right now, we're very, very happy with our partnership with TSMC.
Thank you. In the back here.
Be approaching this opportunity. Thank you.
So we're very excited about the potential of CPU growth in AI racks going forward. If you look at historically for the last 3 or 4 years, the CPU market has not grown very much. It was growing at maybe 3 to 4%. And all of the focus was on GPUs. But as inferencing and agentic AI have really started to ramp, we saw since late last year, the CPU market continue to grow very much. So over the next 5 years, we see the CPU market growing at over 35% each year. And this is an area where we're very strong. So for example, when you look at just the amount of coverage we have at all of the largest hyperscalers around the world, North America, China, across all of the top users, AMD technology is very, very well represented. And our strategy is not just one CPU. We're building a whole family of CPUs. So our new Venice CPU in 2-nanometer technology has a cloud optimized, has a throughput optimized, has a head node optimized, has a agentic AI optimized. And I think that's how you win. It's not just one design point, but actually we have a whole family of design points.
Wonderful. You've been very patient in the back, right there with your hand up.
In the near term, and how would that affect your company's strategy? Thank you very much.
Yes, so China is about 20% plus or minus of our revenue, and it's a very important market for us. Now, we do a lot of business in China across many different segments, so PC segment, gaming segment, as well as some of the data center segments. Of course, we're a U.S. company, so we have to follow all of the U.S. export controls and regulations. So some of our highest end GPUs are export controlled, but frankly, you look at the size of the market and the size of our portfolio, and we'll continue to partner very closely with our Chinese customers, knowing that there is a portion of our portfolio at the very highest end that is export controlled. It doesn't change our commitment to the China market, but we do have to make sure that we're following all of the U.S. export control laws.
Wonderful.
Changing the way they work with the DRAM partners. For example, are you helping advocate to get supply directly, or are people changing their business model on that supply chain relationship? Given that we know DRAM is very cyclical, but this AI boom is probably going to go on for quite a few years.
Yeah, there's no question that there's a lot of focus on memory, and I'll broaden it from DRAM, but also include high bandwidth memory as part of that. And I think what it is doing is it's placing a premium on all of us to ensure that we plan better. And so, for example, on high bandwidth memory, we have been really working closely with all three of the major memory manufacturers to chart our roadmap from 2026, 2027, 2028, all of the HBM variants. But DRAM, frankly, everyone just expected was going to be there. And so today, how that changes is we are actively planning what I would call match sets. So for all of our HBM capability, ensuring that there's the requisite DDR5 that goes along with that. And it's requiring us to plan very closely with our customers as well. This is, what I like to say is, the semiconductor ecosystem is actually fairly good at figuring out ways to deal with these types of things. And I believe in this case, we will as well. Probably the largest impact that we're seeing on the memory case is with some of the consumer markets. I think we're watching the consumer markets carefully because the data center markets will tend to be able to absorb some of the price volatility. In consumer market, it's harder to absorb that price volatility. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of quarters.
Wonderful. I think we have time for a few more questions.
Hi, Lisa. I am Monica from Digitize. I have 3 questions.
I thought you can only have one.
Okay. The first question is how is AMD addressing with CoWoS shortage? And could you share more details about EFB packaging technology, and how does AMD allocate production between EFB and the CoWoS? The 3 is Helios has 72 GPUs. How many CPUs does it use?
Yeah. So let's see, 3 questions. Let me start with CoWoS and EFB technology. Look, the CoWoS capability has been extremely good, and we've been very happy with the progress so far. I think from an overall capacity standpoint, again, our partners have built up the capacity in CoWoS, so we see a good matching between advanced logic and advanced packaging and all of the various pieces. So I wouldn't say that there's a big concern. It's just something that we have to plan in terms of ensuring as we plan our future generation, we have to ensure that we have enough packaging to match the silicon. As it relates to EFB, look, I think CoWoS is a great technology. We're also always looking for technologies that will help optimize the cost point of the advanced packaging solution. So I think it's still early in the EFB development, and we're investing in EFB capacity as well as ensuring that we have good CoWoS capacity, and we'll continue to allocate depending on which on where the demand goes going forward. And then your last question. Oh, Helios. Yeah, Helios is 72 GPUs, and in this case, it's like a 4-to-1 configuration.
Wonderful. I think we have time for one last question.
The sales of AMD's AI chips in China. Granted, NVIDIA recently just said it has largely conceded China's advanced AI chip market to Huawei. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think what we said in our last earnings report was that we are also not counting on sales of our most advanced chips to China. It's a dynamic market. There are U.S. export regulations as well as Chinese regulations as well. At this point, when I look at the China market, as I said earlier, we have such a wide range of products that go into China. I think China is going to continue to be a very important market for us. On the highest performing AI chips, we're probably not going to sell as many, just given the current situation. Where I think China has actually made a lot of progress, though, is on AI PCs and local AI. So our focus, we did a developer day in Shanghai this week, and we had a couple thousand developers there talking about local AI and really how you can use the AI PC technology. So I think there are lots of ways for us to continue to be close partners in the Chinese ecosystem, even with the current regulations.
Wonderful. I want to thank everyone and with that concludes the Q&A session. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Great to see everyone.